Hi, everybody. So I guess today's assignment is we're going to talk about our comfort level in different scenarios in which we need to negotiate. I will start with work. In certain situations at work, I felt very confident to negotiate. I was really good at negotiating with customers as far as getting good margins on our fuel sales or tenant sales, because we worked I worked in corporate aviation. So I worked at different airports, and so we'd have planes come in to purchase fuel that would frequent San Diego. And also we had airplanes that would actually base at those airports, and so they'd need a hangar or like a huge garage to store the plane. And so there's lease agreements, etc. And so I did really good at negotiating that. I also worked in aircraft maintenance, and that's where I got a nickname, or there was a nickname for the Melissa markup, because I got to know each one of my clients and how demanding they were. And based on different cultures, like there were some clients that you knew, no matter how fair you were in your pricing, no matter how cheap the pricing was, they would always negotiate. So I'd strategize and I'd quote really high. And then when the bill came, I'd match the high quote, which was like well overstated what it really was. And then they would negotiate. And sometimes they wouldn't negotiate enough for themselves, and we'd actually make a little bit more money off of them, which was just ironic because the whole culture and expectation was that they were like going to negotiate. You just knew that going into that. And then there were other clients that would never negotiate. And so with them, we always gave very fair pricing. I mean, I never was out to hurt anybody or, rob them or take advantage. So my negotiating as far as that goes was, went really well. I had a very hard time negotiating for myself, however. I almost feel like because my bosses knew the type of negotiator I was on behalf of the company, that when it came to negotiate for myself, it was almost like they knew all my tricks. They're not tricks, but they just knew my style, and they'd almost stop me before I even got started trying to negotiate for myself. And so it just got uncomfortable and awkward. So hopefully I learn a lot in this class and I get better at it for myself. At home, we call it compromise, not negotiating. But I think I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm married, so I feel, my husband and I are very vocal when it comes to what each of us wants. And I think we do a good job at supporting one another and attacking, you always try to remember to attack the problem and not each other. And so I feel pretty comfortable in that scenario. And then as far as school goes, I've worked really well in groups. I don't feel as far as negotiating, sometimes we have to negotiate the volume of work and how it's allocated and just make sure everything's fair. And for the most part, every student has been, you can tell right away if they're going to participate in the group and if not. And if they don't participate and do their fair share, then we don't put their name on the assignment, right? I mean, that seems pretty black and white. I've had to negotiate with some professors at times, and that has become challenging in certain scenarios, but I'd like to think I'm somewhat confident, fairly confident, and I can't wait to learn more and become a better negotiator all the way around.